Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Scruffy City Aquatics live stream. Just trying to get everything settled in a little bit. Running a little bit behind today. Before we get started, I'd like to thank, we'll put me on the screen. Let's do this. Here we go. Before we get started, I'd like to thank everyone who is here in the chat. I appreciate you all. I saw you in here earlier. Hopefully the audio is good. But saw you all in here earlier, could not get to the keyboard. So yeah, thanks for that. Also, thank you to anyone who's here on the replay watching. We want to say it every week. We appreciate you checking this out and watching this or listening to it. I know a lot of the live streams, I listen to them while I'm doing stuff. So Basement Aquatics is good audio. Thank you, Basement Aquatics. Yeah, so I got the 75 with me tonight. No Tanner tonight. A little bit of bad news. Tanner and I broke up. Yeah. You get to know somebody. We were talking about this Q&A stuff, and he started telling me he never liked the peanut butter Twix, and I just can't be friends with someone like that. So he's out. We'll find a replacement at some point. No, I'm kidding. Obviously, I'm kidding. Anybody remember peanut butter Twix? I love peanut butter Twix. If I were given the ability to have one candy bar, there's a candy bar, right? Chocolate bar. It would be peanut butter Twix. Haven't seen those in a long time. I hear that some states still have them. Not my state. Not seen them in my state. Thank you for those who laughed. I appreciate that. Yeah, so best laid plans fell apart. Hey, Liquid Zoo. Hey, Matt. I guess I should go through and say hi to everybody. I've not done that yet. That's Tanner's job. Tanner, you're not doing your job. Lady Rorschach's here. All things fish, Basement Aquatics. Hey, Dave. Scotty the Fish Freak is here. I see people already have questions. That's cool. Sky Dancer has joined us. Medcow74 is here. Sometimes I may do the short names that I know. Sorry if that bothers you. Like I said, Liquid Zoo, Matt is here, and Tennessee Fishkeeper here as well. Thank you on the comment on the 75. Sorry, I'm behind on the comments, and I got down to the bottom and saw yours. Woot woot from All Things Fish. Thank you. I appreciate the excitement. It's good to have everyone here. It's going to be a different show for me tonight. We had plans. We had the Q&A planned. This was going to be an odd week for us anyway. I feel like my camera is a little off too. It's going to be an odd week for us anyway, because with the holidays and everything, it's just been crazy and trying to get to everything, and finally back to work today. Can we talk football since Tanner isn't here? He definitely can't stop us. But I don't know that I would be a good conversation on football. I enjoy football, but I don't follow football that closely. Might talk about that a little bit. Maybe briefly. I think last time we dropped like 10 people when we did that, so I don't know. Thank you to the mods who are here and who are watching over the chat and helping out with things. We appreciate you. But yeah, it's been a crazy, holidays and all that. And Tanner was traveling. He actually is in Knoxville. Well, he's near Knoxville. He's not in Knoxville, but he's near Knoxville. And his computer decided to mess up. He's been working on it. When he messaged me, he'd been working on it over an hour and could not get it to power on. So he was going to have to talk to IT because it's his work computer. And so he's going to have to talk with them about what's going on and get that all worked out. So he's not available tonight. That's okay. He'll be going back tomorrow. We're actually planning on meeting up for a little bit tomorrow and exchange a few things. He's brought me some plants. I'm going to give him a little piece of the Anubias that's on the right side of this 75. I'm going to pop this up a little bit bigger. Oh, it won't do it. It won't do full screen either. Let's try that. There we go. Will it put me down here? No, it will not. Odd. I cannot do that. Okay, anyway. Then the large Anubias on the right side, there's a piece that I'm going to cut off of it. And as they have matured, I've come to find that two of my supposed green Corydora that I got at a store are actually bronze. So I don't want them to interbreed with the greens, and I don't even know what throws off with that. I've not looked into it. I don't know if I would just get greens or bronze because they're the same species. And from what I can tell, I can't find like their color variants. I don't see anything that makes them any different in the limited research that I've done. Um, they're the same thing, and they're gorgeous. I tell you, I kind of wish I could hold on to them until I had some more tanks set up. But I know that Tanner's got plenty of bronze Corys and has a good spot for them, and they'll live their best life there. So he's going to take them. Who knows? Maybe he gets some fry and I take the fry, or take some fry once I get the 20-gallon. That's what's fun about having friends in the hobby who you can do stuff like this with. You know, a lot of the fish in the 75 right now came from friends and people in my club. Monster Fish Gal is here, and Geek Boy Regina Phalanges is in the house. Welcome, y'all. Good to have you. All right, so we'll kind of stick with the Q&A because I haven't had an opportunity to prepare anything because the plan was to do that. So if you want to put at Scruffy City Aquatics, that's a mouthful. I don't think you even need to do that. I'm watching the chat. If you're on a computer or a web browser of some kind and can do the little at symbol and then select my name, do that. But if you're on mobile, go ahead and type it out. Or you don't have to type out Scruffy City Aquatics, and we'll chat. Yeah, football. Vols had a good week. I honestly didn't even look to see where we're at in the standings. So I know we're top 10. I don't think we were top 5, were we? I don't know. We're not talking about that. We're talking about fish. Some of you may have seen my videos on the 75-gallon and know that it's gone through a little bit of a transition here lately. The center section, you can see on the back, there's this little white suction cup there. And I'm pointing at the screen, but you can't see me because I'm hidden behind this now. But that's my temperature control thermostat. And that used to be covered by crypts. That whole area was just full of crypts, and they melted back. I now have, what did we call it? The crypt stump there in the middle, just in front of the rock. There's like a rock in the very center of this screen of this image or picture. It's not image, right? It's moving. It's starting to get some green on it, so I'm hoping it comes back. Let's see. I've got a question from Scotty, the fish freak. Here, I'm gonna pull me back up. Let's do that. Can I do this? Oh, that'll work. We can do that. For some reason, I feel like I'm blurry tonight, and I need to adjust this some more. What's with the lighting? Tonight was crazy trying to get everything together. Kids have so much going on. Maybe I'll just be a little bit dark tonight. Scruffy City Aquatics. How many people from Tennessee are coming to the Keystone Clash in 2023? That's a great question. I got something going on with my hair. I wore a hat today and not feeling it right now, but since my hair's thick enough that since I've worn it, I've got to. When I wear a hat, I'm committed until I rinse out my hair or wash it again. How many people are coming? I know. Oh, actually, I don't know of anyone who has confirmed yet. I have seen the date. It's in September, right? Isn't it in September? It's definitely something that I'm interested in doing. I've never been up that way, and I really enjoyed Aquaticon. So it's something that I'm considering. I don't know where I'll be at come September of next year yet. So I don't know whether or not I can. Um, I can't book it yet. I'll put it that way. All right, let's see. Basement Aquatics. Dave asks, have you ever had a Cory expunge its toxins when agitated? I have never experienced that. That's not to say that I don't believe it. I do believe it. I know it's a thing. I've read up on it. I've seen rocket scientists talk about it online, and I know that they can release those toxins. And if you spook enough of them well enough in a bag, you can have a disaster. I have not experienced that myself. However, I will say I've never bought Corys in a large number. Um, when I first got my Corys, my Paliatus Corys, um, I got them from PetSmart early on, and also the Sturby corridor that's in the 75. There's two now, but the one that's been in there from years at this point, I got them like one at a time because I had a 10-gallon. And so I was just kind of stepping into it. That was the information that I was given online. So I was just kind of stepping in. So I added them slowly. I didn't have that, which I don't know if I would imagine their toxin could bother just one in the bag if you shook it enough or something, which probably kill it anyway. Don't do that. The but when I got the greens, I got those from a member of our club, Curtis. And Curtis decided he wanted to lower the number of green Corys that he had. And he knew that I loved Corridor. And he said, these are nice and they swim around a lot. I think you'd enjoy them. Why don't you take them? And I was like, no, I don't really want them, but I do like Corys, so bring them. He told me that when he caught them, he put them in a 5-gallon bucket and chased them around with his hand for a little while. And then he changed the water in the bucket and then put them in the bag to bring them to me. And they were in like one of those huge Ziploc bags when he brought it. And there were 6, I believe, in there at that time. And they did fine. I didn't lose any of them. Curtis is a dear friend of mine, and as we've known each other for a little over a year now, as we were planning the ETAA, the East Tennessee Aquatic Association, and he's got a nice setup and he keeps clean tanks. So I just put him in the 75. I felt like I would know if he had any issues and he would tell me. And I took a gamble on that. Not that I would always recommend that. I think with certain people in certain circumstances, you can do that. I honestly would never do that with a fish from the store, from any store, not any particular store, any store. I would quarantine. As a matter of fact, I've had credit with my local stores and not bought things because I didn't have a place to quarantine fish, which I need to do like a temporary setup. That'd make a fun video anyway. Doing one of the totes. I need a heater. And that's the one thing that I worry about that is on a heater, what's the chances that melts down a tote? I need to find a heater and a tote that people have used that I'm comfortable with. Nancy B says, my little surprise fry from my native tank 2 weeks ago is still growing. It's about half an inch now, still way too teeny to see what it is. And I saw that picture. I believe it was over at the Music City Club, right? Over on Facebook. I saw that post. Very cool. Regina Phalanges asks, did the swords shade that crypt too much? I don't think so. I'm not sure what happened with my crypt. There's pictures, there's videos of this tank just being absolutely filled with crypts to the point I was giving them away. But they did start to melt back. I did experience some changes in my water. So I don't know if maybe that had something to do with it. I don't think they were shaded out by the swords because my experience and from people that I've spoken with who have kept crypts, they don't necessarily love light anyway. They are, I mean, they are kind of a medium light plant, but they're on the lower end of that. And if you keep them in low light, they're happy. And so I don't think the amount that they're shaded out would have been the reason why they melted. But that is a great question. I did consider that because I looked at turning my light up, and I had a number of people that I was talking to because I was asking them, do you think I should do that? And they're like, no, crypts don't like a lot of light anyway. They prefer a little bit of shade. So I don't think that's it. But those swords are doing really good right now. I bought some new root tabs and shoved about 5 underneath each of those a week ago, and so they are looking beautiful tonight. And next week I've got to shove 5 more under them. It's expensive to keep crypts. Every couple of weeks they demand those root tabs. I asked that question. Did I ask it in the club or did I ask it on the YouTube? I think I asked it on the YouTube. Yeah, about root tabs. When do you use them? Because the rest of the tank, I typically put them in once a month and just keep them there because I keep a lot of crypts. I keep these swords. I've got another sword growing back there that grew off of the mother plant. The plant to the right is actually the very first Amazon sword that I bought. And the sword to the left is a child off of that sword. It came off a spike, and then there in the back, you can just kind of barely see it below the where that temperature apparatus is. There's another one growing, and then I have one in the 25 that was out in the micro pond, and it's in a terracotta pot with some soil. So I'm kind of watching to see if this one in the tank with the gravel, with a substrate that's been there for a long time, with root tabs, because I have been giving it a couple of root tabs. I want to see how it does in comparison to the one that was outside and now is inside, but is in the soil. So we'll see. Matt does not want to hear any more about the clash before May of 2023, or he's going to get canceled. That's funny. I am looking forward to the shows. I know that we're all kind of waiting on Aquashella because Aquashella is the big show that a lot of people are going to want to go to, and I don't want to plan anything with the club around at the same time as Aquashella. We had our swap the same time as Aquashella. So I'd like to be able to get a heads up on that. I know that everybody is waiting. I've spoken with a few people about, hey, when do you think it'll happen? I've got no true idea of when it might happen. So once that happens, we can start talking about what we're going to do. I've been booking people for the club, and I've actually, at this point, I'm waiting on confirmation from one more person. I think I have the entire year booked out, and I did not intend to. I sent out a little bit of feelers out there, asked a few people, and thinking that I'd get like half the people committed, and it was almost everybody. So I then had to try and fit it in around the things we already had planned. And so we've got a number of people already booked. One, maybe 2 that are dependent on Aquashella. So and also our schedule, if we stay where we're at, which is downtown, we have to plan around the UT games. So we can't do hard dates on some of those months anyway when there is a UT game. We'll try to keep it to the second week because that works great and seems to work with the football schedule too. I see the Zen Ginger is here saying hi. Just finished up dinner. What'd you have? I wonder if anybody else asked. Nancy's here. Oh, I already spoke to Nancy. Sorry. Let's see. Pimp and Shrimp is here. I'm trying to see if anybody has questions. I don't want to skip over them. Think it's only ones from the wild. It may be. It may be ones from the wild. Like I said, I've never experienced anything with it, but I have heard. And Keeper Kane is here. Hey, Kane, good to see you. Getting in from work. Basement Aquatic says, get a spare 10. I have a spare 10. I have nowhere to put it. That's the problem. I have nowhere to put the spare 10. Setting up a spare 10 seems more permanent to my wife. If I set up a little tub, that's obviously not permanent. So that will allow me to quarantine some fish. Although I'd still have to figure out where to put it. I just don't have furniture for my hobby. Big Shrimpin says, as long as the heater is underwater, it will never melt through a tote. Okay. Um, that's good to hear. I can't remember who put that fear in my head. But I was trying to figure out if a heater that I had on me, because I do have an extra heater, I was trying to figure out if that heater would work in a tote, and somebody recommended that I not do it. I think the heater that I was, because it was a small tote that I was going to use, I think the heater was like one of those beta heaters that is set to a temperature and you can't change it. And that might have been where that came from. ABC Aquatic Biotope Creations is here. ABC, welcome to the live stream. Thank you for joining me. We've got 25 in the live stream. I really appreciate everybody coming out. Especially, I feel bad I don't have a topic, but hopefully the conversation's fun. I can rattle on for a while. Last week Tanner and I were talking. We had plans of something we wanted to do, and then we realized how close it was going to be to him traveling and everything. And then my schedule was crazy this week too. And we were like, okay, let's put that off and let's do something different. And last week I brought up a podcast. I brought up the fact that I use my mic on a podcast. And that led to a conversation about my nerdy podcast that I've done for 5 years. And I enjoyed talking about it, and I'm sure many of you didn't. But I thought, well, it might be fun to talk about a few more things like that. So, if you have any questions like that, feel free to ask them. Nano Aquarium guy is here. Hello, Nano. Regina Phalanges, yes, swords are underrated. They grow big and they grow fast. They do. I love swords. It's that plant. It's the plant everybody thinks of. I feel everybody thinks of swords when they think of an aquarium plant. And in my mind anyway, it is definitely what I think of. And when I see a tank with some gigantic swords growing in them, that's a tank I like. That's a tank I like. I can get behind having swords in a tank. I want to do different swords. I did buy a melon sword. I can't remember. So there's the red melon sword. And what's the other red sword? My fingers are over here. Red melon sword or... I can't think of it now. There's a couple of red swords that are common. And I bought one of those from a place, and it's gone. I don't know what happened to it. I grow Amazon swords pretty well, but I was not able to keep that one going. It just disappeared on me. The Cryptocorn spiralis that's in this tank is finally starting to throw off some leaves. It took it a little while to get happy in my tank, but it is starting to grow. And that's a plant I've wanted for a while. I do want to put, I brought up the red sword, tangent. I brought up the red swords because I would like to put some red swords in the tank. I don't know if my lights, I don't know how red swords do with my light range. I do hope to upgrade my light next year. I actually had thought that I might do a new light for Christmas because I really want to try that co-op light. But I don't think it's going to be out in time. And I found out this week that my present was already bought. So not going to be this Christmas, not going to be this season. So we'll see. It's something that I do want to do, though. I really like the co-op. I've talked about the co-op. I don't have my mug for some reason, but I like to have the mug in here. And I know many of you all do too. But I've been following the chronicles of that light. I'm really excited about what they're doing. And I feel like it'd be a big step up from my Nicrew that's currently on the 75. And I'd like to try it. may just become an algae farm for me. I don't know. I have to take my time in getting that thing set up. Actually, you know what? That's a good point. I should wait until some of you all have had it and figure out what settings grow well for you, and I can start to work off that. Paul Soltero is here. Yo Fish Nerds. Hello, Paul. Welcome to the live stream. Lady R had to go. Hopefully she'll be back. Thank you, Lady R. Liquid Zoo says, I'll say this. If you have a choice between Shella and a club event, choose a club event. No hate for Shella, but support your clubs for sure. Absolutely. Not that I wouldn't go to Aquashella or that I don't want to go to an Aquashella, but I would not miss any of my club events to go to Aquashella. And I realize I'm saying that as a board member of my club, but even if I weren't a board member of my club, and I hope to not always be a board member of my club, even if that were the case, I'd want to be there with my club as opposed to at a large event like that. It would be kind of fun to meet some of the people that I've been watching on YouTube for years and see some of the companies and that are there. Aquashella is like Comic-Con. It's a industry event, right? It's much more an industry event rather than like Dragon Con is a fan event. And I see my local club stuff as more of a fan event. Also, the smaller shows, what I saw of the Clash reminded me of going to a convention like Dragon Con or Smoky Mountain Comic Expo. What's that called? Anyway, something like that. It was like going to one of those. Quadicon, same thing. It just has that fun, intimate atmosphere. I'd much rather go to something like that than Aquashella, but I would absolutely still like to go to Aquashella at least once. And I hear that once you go, you have a good time. So everybody that I know that has ever gone enjoyed themselves. But I would not miss my local stuff for that. I agree, Matt. Other people agreeing? Yeah, we're all on the same page. Yeah, totally. Scotty says it's totally different vibe than club events. I agree. Keynes appreciates Liquid Zoo. I missed that. I missed what it was for. Everybody's agreeing, though. I think we're still talking about the same thing. I might be catching up. I'm catching up to you all. Steak and loaded French fries. Ooh, loaded French fries. So like cheese and bacon and green onion and sour cream or ranch, something like that. One of our favorite places up in Pigeon Forge is the it's a mouthful. It's a big name. It's horrible marketing. It's the Old Mill Pottery House Cafe. Old Mill Pottery House Cafe. It used to be a local place. It used to be one of those places that was kind of off the beaten path. It wasn't the, I don't know if you've ever been to Pigeon Forge, Gatlinburg, and all that. It is a tourist town. It's more than a tourist trap. It is like going to the beach. It's like going to Myrtle Beach, but in Tennessee. A lot of really cool stuff there. It's a lot of fun. We frequent up there, and but our favorite place to eat used to be a local place. They since like developed the area and put in parking lots, and the trolleys go there now, and there's a bunch more shops than there used to be. And so it is a little harder to get into, a little bit of a wait. It's not hard to get into, but it always has a wait. Great food, amazing food. And I went on that tangent to say they're loaded chips. Yes, absolutely. Somebody at our table always gets the loaded chips. We share those because you can't eat all of them. It's a lot. Not that there's just too many. It's just a lot. It's heavy. Darlene just got home from work. I'll have to catch the beginning of the replay. Well, we're glad you're here. Big Shrimpin' made some meatball subs for dinner tonight. I mean, a melted cheese sub with little bits of meat and sauce. That's how to do a meatball sub. A lot of times, meatball subs do have too much meat and they're difficult to eat, and you just make a mess and you regret it. But yeah, that's good. What did I do? Oh, I had a corn dog. Like I said, crazy night. Corn dog in the air fryer, though. So it was nice and crispy. Oh, man. Chipotle. ABC had Chipotle. We're all talking food now. Regina Phalange says, just set up the 10-gallon on her. Oh, wait. Mitch just set up the 10-gallon on her side of the bathroom sink. Okay. Yeah. I don't have, I've thought about this. I've looked at every angle. I don't have a sink that's large enough in my house, which is, there's reasons for it in this house. The design of this house, when they designed this house, they chose a gigantic walk-in closet over a double vanity in the master. I'm not a fan of it. My wife loves it. So I would love to have the double vanity with a little more space, but she has her big closet and I have my little closet because there's 2 closets in the room. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how that happened. Crazy architect. Probably wasn't. Probably was just a contractor. No offense to contractors. I've lived in that world. I've done that. But, you know, sometimes those decisions are made on the fly. Big Shrimpin says you can literally hold a lighter to the bottom of a plastic cup full of water and it won't melt through. Okay. All right. Well, I've got a heater then. I only need the sponge filter. Ray Aquatics is here. Hello, Ray. There's spaces in that Ray, R-A-Y. So it makes me want to stop and say R-A-Y Aquatics. But I know people call you Ray. So hello, Ray. Oh yeah, people wanting the cheesy meatball sub. Okay, so we're still talking about melting. Ocelot sword? I can't remember the spelling. I'll look. Let's see. Let me look. I haven't brought it up. I've tried to have to deal with it without bringing up on the live stream that I'm having a little bit of technical difficulties, but I'm having some technical difficulties. One of my and I just need to buy one. I've been looking. I've got an old Mac. Okay, it's a great Mac. It's lasted me for a very long time, but it was back when Thunder 2. Apple was pretty sure Thunder 2 was going to be the next big port, and it's not. Everybody went USB-C, and so I do have a USB 3 port on this computer. Sorry for getting technical for those who don't care. But then I have 2 of those Thunder 2 ports, which are absolutely worthless because I'm not going to spend $50 on the attachment to then get it to work on another $20 cable in order to use it. But anyway, I need a hub. I had a hub and apparently I burned it out because it just quit working on me. So I can't use my mouse. I can't use everything. So I need to get myself a dock. That's what I'm saying. I'm trying to tell you, I got to get myself a dock in order to do everything that I want to do when I'm on here. And I'll also get another monitor at that point. What I really need is I need to make a space that I can do this at where it's dedicated to it and I don't have to reset up all the time. You know, I'm not seeing that sword. Let's see. Oh, red flame sword, red melon sword, red flame sword. Those are the 2. Yeah, I'd like to have one of those. I had one. I feel like I bought the melon. I think I bought the melon, but it didn't make it. Basement Aquatic says, get a cased heater like I have, no issues. Are you saying it's one of those heaters that's got the plastic enclosure, like the Co-op's new heater, which hopefully I'm getting one soon. The 75 has been running on, I think there's 2 200-watt heaters in the 75, and they are on a temperature controller, one of the bird temperature controllers. For some reason that was hard to say. But they are 3 years old as of May. So I'm past the 3-year mark on those heaters. That's kind of the time when I expect them to start failing. And instead of having to, which you can't see it right here, I don't know. Let's see. Put it back on solo. Yeah, you can see it. So if you look on the left side, oh, no, you can't. That's the sponge filter. If you could see it, and this actually proves my point. If you could see it on the left side, I have, is it Aqueon that had the complete black heater? Like it's like a matte finish. I loved those. I know I've seen a ton of people have them split, so I don't know that I still love them, but I did when I bought mine. And I wanted another one. I had a heater that I used, so I just added the 200 because I went from a 25. So I added a heater, and the plan was to buy another one of those. Well, my old heater went out before I could do that, so I had to. In my mind, I don't know that I really had to because it's 200 watts in there. It probably could have kept up, but in my mind, I had to have another heater, and so I got the only thing that was available in my area. And if you look behind the Nubius and the Amazon sword on the right, kind of to the right of the Rasboras there, um, you can see the silver heater back there, and it pokes me in the eye every time I look at it because I really wish it was one of those black heaters. But yeah, I would like to get one of those. If the suction cups are on the heater, there's enough space for water flow to keep anything from getting too hot. Okay. Yeah. And with the one that I was using, like I said, it's one of those little beta heaters. Let me put me back up here. I'm not up there, am I? Yeah. So with the little heater, it's flush um, the way it's designed. So I don't know. I think because it's a beta heater, I think it's supposed to stay up around 80, above 82. Or I don't mean 82. I mean, it's supposed to be above 80. Um, Keeper Kane is growing something up. ABC Aquatics. Wait, you were at the Clash. I was not at the Clash. I did want to go to the Clash. So I got into YouTube when Aquaticon was going on. I had already created the channel, was playing around with it. And it was at Aquaticon that Chattanooga Ed found out about the channel and started telling everybody about it. And so I really appreciate that. He told a lot of people, and a lot of people gave me a chance and came and hung out with me, and that's been awesome. But yeah, I wasn't following other clubs stuff. I was too busy working on our club and with Kane and JT and Jason and Curtis and trying to plan things out. And honestly, our hidden six member, John, who we were all fielding questions off of and then coming back and talking about it together as a group. Select Pet John, who's if you're thinking about starting a club, talk to John. He's made all the mistakes. He's able to help you. Uh, but yeah, I found out about the Clash and what was around the Clash. There was a Keystone Clash and the Triple Crown. The Triple Crown was closer to me, so it was one of those that I thought maybe. And I knew some people who were going up there from my area, but I was not able to make that happen. I actually had I had to be at a comic convention to cover a panel and to do an interview. So I already had that on my books. I could not give that up, which was a lot of fun. I got to take my daughter, and she got to meet one of her favorite actors, and that was a fun day. It was a great day. Actually, the whole family went, but Lady R says, my favorite way to cook corn dogs, definitely in the air fryer. Yes. Once you have an air fryer, it changes your life. Oh, Regina Flange says, there's a place in Pismo Beach that only makes clam chowder in a sourdough bread bowl. The lines of people go around the block every day. So this place, the Old Mill Pottery House Cafe, does specialize in sourdough. So they do have an amazing bread bowl, and they do. I don't typically do bread bowls. I'm not. I like soup, soup's like an at-home comfort food for me. I don't usually get soup out. My wife does, but I don't get soup out. At many places, there are a couple places that I would, as a side maybe. But they will bring you for dinner. They'll bring you. Oh, I got blurry. Oh, there we are. They will bring you bread to your table, and it's got a little bit of salted butter on the side that you can spread on that sourdough, and it is amazing. And then they have these gigantic loaves at the door that you can buy on your way out, and we do sometimes. Makes really great French toast as well. All right, clam chowder. Not my thing. I've done gumbo. I know it's not similar. I mean, in my mind, there's some connections there, but um, yeah, clam chowders. I've tried it. Actually, you know what? I tried it at the Pottery House Cafe. That's funny. They asked me if I wanted to try it one time. I was like, okay, yeah, I'll try it. Never had it. Wasn't my thing. TJ Autocross coming in way late. Few minutes ago. Welcome to the live stream. Thank you for joining us, TJ. TJ is always commenting on videos, and I really appreciate that, TJ. I know whenever I put something out, I'm going to see something from you, and that's awesome. Is better late than never. Regina Phalange says the Higer heaters and co-op are my favorite. I think the Higer heaters have that that casing as well. I believe I looked into those at one point. I'm sure they make. I think they make like all types. They make them all, or they put their name on them. I don't know how that works, but yeah, I hear they're good though. I've not heard complaints. Yes, Big Shrimpin', you know you've made it big time when the Zinger grease you. That's absolutely the case. Oh, did I catch you all? I have caught you. Dave, I don't know how to say that. I have. Did you mean to type that? I'm not going to try. I'll embarrass myself. It's a digi heater. It's a good heater. Always on the money. That's good. ABC says, oh, sorry, got TJ. I don't have any heaters. I keep cold water native fish. I think that's awesome, ABC. Cold water native fish are very cool. You know, I live in an area where we have a lot of cold water fish that are amazing. And I've really enjoyed getting to learn about them. It's on Amazon. Basement Aquatic says it's an Amazon heater. Killer Kitty 08 in the house. Hello, Killer Kitty. Good to see you. But yeah, we have. I'm going to say it wrong. It's CFI, and it is Conservation Fisheries Incorporated in our area, in our city, and they work at protecting native species. We actually had Derek on a couple of times with me and Tanner and I. That would be correct. With Tanner and I, and we talked a little bit about conservation of local species and some of their work. And we actually have them on the plan for this year at the club, hoping to do some stuff with CFI, hoping we can kind of partner with them a little bit. I like what they're doing, and hopefully the club decides to do some stuff there too. Gonna like volunteer and stuff. Go. I saw people with razor blades cleaning tanks for them. I thought, I could do that. I could help out that way. We were supposed to go. This wasn't like an event just for us. This was an event that they already had going on because we kind of started talking about doing something late in the game for trying to fit something in the summer, and they already had something going on, and to where we could go snorkeling with them up in one of the rivers up in the mountains, Smoky Mountains, and so that was planned. And the week of, we had this monstrous monsoon of a rainstorm come through and completely wash out all the waterways. And there was no getting to the water. So, oh, cool, ABC Aquatics. Yeah, Derek's a great guy. We need to have Derek on again. It's been a while. Oh, Killer Kitty. So I have my green jade tank set up for a couple hours and have an issue. It's a Fluval Flex 9-gallon and shrimp are getting in the back. I put filter floss over the openings, but they still get by it. I have never used a Fluval Flex. I have seen them and I've watched videos on them. I thought it had a little sponge that went over it on the inside. Do you have some sponge? If you're able to put like, I have some of that coarse sponge laying around my house all the time. If you have a piece of that, you could try that. I have shrimp living in my coarse sponge and they're able to keep from, well, that's not true. Even though I have that, I still end up with some in my canister filter whenever I clean it. They make it through, at least some of them, and they grow up. I figure they go in when they're shrimplets and just gorge themselves in the canister filter and grow. And then when I clean the canister filter, I get a few extra shrimp. It's like going to the store and not spending any money. But yeah, the floss, I would think that would work. Anybody else? Anybody have experience with a Fluval spec? Was it Flex? Fluval Flex? Regina Flanges has an experiment going on, trying sand versus soil or gravel, currently with plants. My first experiment, not going horrible so far. Tanner swears by the sand. I think he has sand in all of his tanks, or he took down a bunch of tanks, but all the tanks that are up, I think they're sand. With substrate under. I think there's sand on the top on all of them. But yeah, I've heard mixed reactions on that. Did you put anything under the sand? Or are you saying it's just sand? Part of, let me go back here again. Let's try solo. Over here on the right, where these Corridor have parked themselves and are hanging out still. I think they've been there the entire time. That is sand. Sorry, about 1/3 of my 75-gallon is sand. It's narrow at the front. What is sand? It's more like a quarter. I'm going to yawn, y'all. It's not a good sign. Crazy week. I've already had long nights. But the right side, about a quarter of it on the front is sand, but then it slants back to where it's about 1/3 of it when you get to the back. And I did it just for Corridor because I enjoy watching Corys in the sand. And I do have a dwarf Sagittaria growing in my sand currently. I do shove root tabs underneath there. I've tried other plants with very little success. I do have some crypts over there that they're there, but they're not really doing great. They're not growing amazing, but none of my crypts are for some reason. I'm not sure what has happened with my water. Ooh, there we go. Pin shrimp pantyhose over the little guard. There you go. That would work. They're not going to get through that. Hello, SC. There's no surefire way to keep them out of the back of the Flex. Sounds like that's a problem everybody's experiencing. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I don't know how that tank is designed, but I've used the thin green scrubby pads to block off shrimp before. Okay. I thought there was like a little, it's like again, I'm holding my hands up and you're not there, or I'm not there, so you don't see me. Oh, I didn't want a solo. I still wanted the tank up there. I thought there was like this little block that went on the intake, and maybe I'm thinking of a different one. I don't own any of them. And all the ones I think I've seen have been Sean's. And in person, I did not climb down and look at the intake. But I've seen the videos. I like the pantyhose definitely would work though. Medcow says Ben Ochart had issues with fish getting stuck back there. He gave up on it. Lady R says, well wishes in your endeavor. Hope it works out. Look forward to some updates. Big Shrimpin wants to know which is doing better, asking Regina. ABC, yeah, dirt on a sand cap. So there's still plans to do a 4-tier rack. I'm not going to be able to do it just yet, but it's in the works. When I do that, I want to do 3. I don't want to say very different tanks because they're going to be right on top of one another. So I don't want them to be very different, but I think I'm going to do like different substrates. I've got a tank with gravel. I don't know that I'll do sand. I'm going to yell it again. That's horrible. That's horrible. Everybody just, good night. I'm kidding. Not good night yet. We got like 7 minutes. I was up late last night. Dirt takes with a sand cap, though. I do want to try that. I know people who, Jason tells me all the time that, he dirt. Sorry about that. It's a little bit better when Tanner's here, right? What's funny is I've gone without a lot of issues for a little while. I'm trying to scroll back and get back to where I was. I have finally, well, I don't know that I know what's going on with the internet yet, but I will say that I've spoken with enough people to feel like there's a chance that I'm having issues with my router. Because everybody's pointed fingers at everybody else and everybody has shown receipts that it's not their issue. And although there's absolutely nothing wrong with my router, or I said router, my modem, although there's nothing wrong with my modem because I have a split, it's not a single. There's nothing wrong with it. And when Motorola checks it out, everything, or when they walk me through checking it out, everything's good. They think it just can't handle the speeds because it all did happen when Comcast upgraded our speed for free or whatever and sent us an email, and then it did start happening after that. So need a router, and I am going to have to work on that. But it is Christmas time and I've got kids, so it's not high on the priority list, unfortunately, for us right now. Let's see, Todd is here. Smattering of gravel on top. Okay. Yeah, it could be that the floss, Killer Kitty 08, it could be that the floss is too easy for them to push through or get pulled through. I don't know how much suction's going on there. SC says, I've had a mono shrimp jump over the false back of the flex and Neos get through the base of the guard covers. Yeah, stratum, the breakdown. That's what kept me from doing those, which is why I really like Sean and Tanner's little recipe of mixing a few different things. And I like that because you're not just building up that one product that's going to be scooped out. Stephen P says, and welcome to the live stream, Stephen. You look up an intake for the Fluval Flex on Etsy. So there's some people have come up with some solutions there. Regina, I love mine and hate it. Had it running for 3 years. The shrimp will come out when they get hungry. This is true. They will come out when there's no food back there. Oh, I'm caught up to when I yawned and froze. Comcast thought something different. I'm catching up. Thank you, TJ. Yeah, I agree. Big shrimp and keeping critters out of that, it's hard. Like I said, with my canister, I never fails. And I've got pre sponges on the intakes, and I wouldn't imagine that I would have got them until the experience. They're always in there. Thank you, Zen Ginger. Welcome back. Well, we are coming to the end of time. Thank you all for hanging out with me on this Tuesday. It was fun talking with you all. And Killer Kitty, I hope that Etsy solution works for you. Or the pantyhose. I think I'd try the pantyhose. But yeah, thank you all. It's always great to sit down and talk with everyone. Tanner should be back next week, and we'll probably get into talking about maintenance. Talk about maintenance of our tanks. And yeah, thanks for checking out Scruffy City Aquatics. If you haven't already liked this live stream, I appreciate that. And you can subscribe. Love to see you subscribe. And thank you to everyone who's here and been hanging out. I believe Bentley was going on tonight, so you can head over there and check out Bentley's live stream. And I'll see you around in the chats. Enjoy your tanks. Oh, and stay scruffy.